those leaders were not self-managing in the moment, and they didn't really think about their emotions. They just felt it and reacted right away, and that caused such. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the LeadHer Lounge. I'm Taylor Miller-Goulet.
And I'm Erica Rivera, and this is the space where modern leaders come for fresh and practical takes on leadership. Welcome!
We have talked a ton in our past videos about emotional intelligence, but we haven't really dove into the topic a ton. So today we're going to really just speak very candidly on what emotionally intelligent leadership looks like by sharing some of our own experiences and insight on why it is so important to keep high levels of EQ or emotional quotient as a leader to help build more trusting and consistent and inclusive teams. So one of the most important things I think that results from highly emotionally intelligent leaders is the consistency piece of it all, being consistent with your emotions.
And to be consistent, you need to be self-aware, which is the foundation of emotional intelligence. Self-aware of your emotions, your feelings, and what are triggering those emotions and feelings as well.
Yeah. So when you're self-aware about how you're feeling, it's going to be, so let's say you're feeling angry. That's going to help you better understand, how can I self-manage myself in this moment? So if I'm feeling angry, maybe I need to go for a walk, do some breathing exercises,
talk with someone,
exactly. But if I'm feeling sad, maybe I might need something different. Maybe I need like a mental health day, or maybe I need, again, to talk to someone, confide in someone that I trust. It's going to be very different depending on what you're feeling, but you have to know how you're feeling, because a lot of times I think we overreact and we get in these emotions, and then we're stuck with like, I just feel overwhelmed. That's not really
how you're feeling.
Yeah.
And I think it's the lack of also knowing or recognizing the specific feeling. We use an emotion wheels where help us to understand beyond the normal feelings.
Yeah.
The normal feelings are happy, being sad, angry, and content, for example. But there are more things. Sometimes maybe you're not just sad, you're just hungry. Or you're not angry, you're hungry. Yes. Sometimes it's not what, sometimes you think it's about something, but it maybe you're just tired, very tired, or you are frustrated about something that you did the previous night, and that's why you're bringing today to your team.
Yeah.
So just like recognizing those different feelings, and we can share that resource again with all of you.
Yeah.
You know where to find it. What is happening that is triggering this emotion, and when you know that, you recognize those things. You're gonna maybe avoid that situation if you can, and if something that you can avoid, of course. But if not, now you're gonna know what to do after, and that's again, you mentioned it, the self-manage piece.
And sometimes, like you said, it's not avoidable. Like if we are being triggered by someone that we work with, which happens quite often. I personally have seen leaders who have exhibited very low levels of emotional intelligence because they were never, I hope not, but they have been triggered by someone at work, and I've seen someone yell at somebody in front of everybody else. I've seen someone who was triggered because they received very constructive feedback of how they're doing as a leader, and they shut down the rest of the day and didn't talk to anybody. And those reactions, those leaders were not self-managing in the moment, and they didn't really think about their emotions. They just felt it and reacted right away, and that caused such a tension and a discomfort and so much inconsistency on that team that made the other team members, not just the person that they were interacting with, but everyone that witnessed that was like, oh shoot, like we can never like have tough conversations with that person because they're going to shut down, or I can't be late anymore because that person's going to yell at me in front of everybody. It's just such an awkward situation. So that emotional intelligence and having that self-awareness and the ability to know I need to take a minute to cool down before I react to the situation is so, so essential to creating a safe and consistent environment on your team.
Yes, and we are not asking you to be perfect.
No.
We go through life, and life is going to life, and a lot of things are going to happen personally and professionally. You're going to have issues and challenges. However, those days when you feel a little bit down, those days that you cannot bring your best self, and you know that you're going to be kind of thinking about that situation that is happening, is going to be in the back of your kind of like mind. Just be real with your people, and during the meeting of the morning, or maybe tell each individual whatever you prefer, maybe let them know, like, today, team, I need you, I need your energy and your good vibes and your support, because I'm feeling a little bit down, something is happening personally, and I am not feeling my best self. So if you see me a little bit extra quiet and a little bit serious, is because I might be thinking about the situation. I'm gonna try my best to be here for you, but today I need you. And that shows that you're a human, that everybody goes through different situations, bad situations, and even though you're going through that situation, you are there for them, you are trying your best, you are showing up, and that's gonna be such a big example for them, because they're not gonna use I'm gonna say excuse, for lack of a better word, for misbehaving. They're not gonna use that excuse for, I was going through this personal situation, or I was overwhelmed at work, and that's why I yelled. They're not gonna utilize those things, because they're seeing you, that you're also a human going through a bad situation, being vulnerable, expressing how you're feeling, and trying to contain yourself so you don't negatively impact the people around you.
And talking about self-management in that vein, when you are sharing a vulnerable moment like that, when you are going through something, that actually helps release some happy brain chemicals that help you feel a little bit better. So that's a great way to self-manage, is just being honest with someone. You walk into work, if you're, in person, and they say, hey, how's it going? You say, I'm really just not my best self today. That person might say, do you want to talk about it? And be vulnerable with that person. That's a great opportunity for you to just get it out, because keeping it in and not telling anyone and just trying to handle it by yourself is so much harder, and it's going to come across as you can't handle yourself, and you might end up yelling, you might end up crying, and that's okay, but like, how do we avoid those situations as best as we can when we're at work and in front of other people?
Yes, and I think those moments that you were like kind of expressing and showing your how human you are, and that you're going through different emotions, when you have those negative reactions, those should be kind of like exceptions.
Exactly.
It shouldn't be the norm. It's not that the leader is always yelling, the leader is always sad, the leader is always overwhelmed. It has to be an exception, because what is the consistency? And the consistency is about being a strong leader that is there for their team to support and to create a positive environment, right? So just today, there's an exception. Today, I'm feeling this way. I need you.
Yeah. And you will be surprised at how much people will just step up, especially if you've already built that really strong, trusting, caring relationship with them. They're going to be like, we got you. And I've been in that situation before where my leader at the time was, maybe they weren't feeling well. They were actually like sick, but we were in a service role, so they had to be there. And I was like, you know what, you go sit in the office. At the moment, I was at that time I was a team member, and I was like, I got the floor. Like, if I really need you, I will come and get you, because I knew they showed up. They were sick. There was no other option for them, and they were miserable, but they were like, I'm really not my best self today. And I was like, that's okay. You can just chill in the back, try to rest as much as you can, and we got you.
We got you. And I think that transitions very well to the social awareness portion, when you know that your feelings, your emotions are impacting someone and how they're impacting them. And not just like what you're doing, but also how they're feeling themselves, like how maybe because in their personal lives, they're also going through something. You notice that because you know them so well. You know them so well that you know that they are different today, and you're noticing those things, and now you're the person supporting them and helping them as well.
And again, it goes back to creating that safe environment so that people can share. So if you do ask, hey, you just don't seem like yourself today, and it's okay to say that to someone, especially if you have a good relationship with them, and then that gives them that opportunity and the space to open up and share, like, I'm going through something personal, I'm just not really feeling it today. And you can just be more understanding, because we should always be giving 100%, but be mindful that 100% might not actually be 100%,
Yes.
You can show up and give 60% if that's all that you have that day, but if you only have 60%, that's okay, because that's all you have. So it's 100%.
Yes, and I think as a team, that's why we have the word team. Some days Taylor is going to have to give 120% to this team because maybe I'm just going to be able to bring my 80%.
Yeah.
So she has to give an extra percentage,
Yeah.
right? So, but some days I'm gonna be the one doing the same. So just expressing that to your team and sharing that with your team, I think is gonna create also the social awareness where, okay, I notice you, I heard you, I see you, I know where you are at, I'm here for you, and we can like figure it out together what to do so the team keeps
succeeding. And that will kind of bring us into our fourth component, which is relationship management. And that's really the overall element, the ending piece of emotional intelligence.
Kind of like the goal.
Yeah, it's really the goal, because it's all about building trust and trusting relationships with your team, not just on an individual level, but they trust you, you trust them, they trust each other. But the relationship management piece is, how are you maintaining that trust with your team? And it's really by setting an example so that people are also being emotionally intelligent, because sometimes you have team members on your team who don't exhibit emotional intelligence. So the way that you handle those situations also shows how emotionally intelligent you are too. Because if you let someone slide with a bad attitude, maybe calling someone out in front of other people, which makes it super uncomfortable for everyone else on the team, or someone that just shuts down and doesn't talk, or someone that cries a lot, like, if you don't approach that situation and coach that person, you are going to look like you're going to be less emotionally intelligent too, because it's all about how you manage those relationships and help your team members become more emotionally intelligent as well.
And that brings us back to your point about consistency. And consistency breeds reliability. And it's something that you really need to work hard on yourself first in order to help others, to help them be self-aware and social aware and self-manage. You need to work on yourself. That's what self-awareness is, the foundation. And then that relationship management, which is at the end of the day, trust, building trust in teams, is gonna be there because you are showing up every single day, being consistent. And those days that you cannot be consistent, you're gonna express that, you're gonna share that, but still you're gonna be able to find ways, different techniques to self-manage.
Yeah. So overall, there's 4 total components to emotional intelligence that we kind of touched on today, and we'll touch on in probably every episode, honestly, because it's such an important piece of leadership. But it's that self-awareness piece, your ability to self-manage yourself in the moment, your social awareness, so understanding how your emotions impact others, but also how other people are feeling on the team, and then the relationship management piece, which is, how am I breeding consistency, reliability, trust, how am I being very consistent for my team? But if you have anything else related to emotional intelligence, or if you think someone could really benefit from this video, please, please, please share this with them, because this, like we said, is the most important piece of leadership. And of course, as always, please subscribe so that you can get more content from us here at the LeadHer Lounge each week.
Yeah, see you next week, leaders. Bye.